Hi there, and thanks for your interest in the Parent Tween Connections Trusted Expert Network. I'm Clarissa Constantine, the founder and Chief Visionary Officer of the Parent Tween Connection. When you think about the Trusted Expert Network, think of it as currently the fastest growing professional network in the world that is exclusively for professionals who work with teens, tweens, and families. Now, I dare say, not only are we the fastest growing, but we're the only network of cross industry professionals from the legal world to the mental health world to the education world and beyond. But the commonality that we all have is that we all work with teens, tweens, and families. There are some organizations out there that have like public website listings, but from the best that I can find, we don't have one that has a website listing as well as a network of professionals who work together, are collaborative, and refer each other on a regular basis. So how did we start? Well, Parent Tween Connection became a spark in my brain when a friend of mine was dealing with some really challenging stuff with her daughter, who was 15 at the time. Mom was terrified that her daughter was going to come under unfortunate circumstances by her own decisions, put it that way. And the phrase that she said to me that was kind of like my lightning bolt was, I just wish I had someone to talk to. She'd been to every professional she could find, but she didn't have any family or other parents that she could connect with to talk openly about what she was navigating. So I started a Facebook group because I didn't know what else to do. We grew pretty quickly in the early days, and I knew that that was proof of concept. Proof of what concept, I wasn't entirely sure. But I said, hey, there is a need for community for parents of kids between the ages of 10 and 20. So that Facebook group is now kind of like the quad on a college campus that connects the four pieces of our organization. One piece is our Trusted Expert Network, which is what we're talking about here today. The second piece is Parent Tween Village. It's a community for parents, grandparents, step-parents, adoptive parents, aunts, uncles, mentors, all of the people in that proverbial village that it takes to raise a child. The third leg of our organization is our nonprofit entity, the Parent Tween Foundation. We received our official IRS status in December of 2022. So as we grow, we're going to be working to have funding available so that when a family says, hey, we want to work with one of these professionals, but we can't afford their rates, Parent Tween Foundation wants to be able to come in and bridge the gap between what the professional needs to charge, but what the family can afford. The fourth pillar of the Parent Tween Connection is our local communities. These will be coming sometime late 2023, early 2024, and they're going to give us an opportunity to have community in person in geographies across the US and around the world. These will be led primarily by professionals who see the value of creating community in their geography, expressly of parents of kids between the ages of 10 and 20 and the professionals who serve them. Trusted experts are the folks who are going to have the opportunity to lead those communities. At Parent Tween Connection, our primary values are these two: inclusivity and respect. We're not going to say that anyone is excluded, but what do we all have in common? We all are part of the village that is raising the next generation, whether we're the parents ourselves, whether we're grandparents, extended family, and the professionals. All of these folks are welcome here. Folks of all races and creeds and religions and beliefs are welcome here. And the way that we can have that kind of inclusivity is going to be on a foundation of respect. We can disagree. You can have your beliefs, I can have mine, but we can still treat each other with kindness and compassion and due regard, frankly, for the variation of beliefs that exist among the human race. So the whole concept behind the Trusted Expert Network is that when a parent is struggling with something with their kiddo, they think of two places to go, either the pediatrician or the school. Well, those two resources don't know about all of the rest of us. The guidance counselors might know that an SAT coach exists. They might know that there are some mental health professionals that they could refer you to. The pediatrician might also know some of the mental health professionals and some of the local resources, but they don't necessarily have a network, a nationwide network of professionals who can support either in person or virtually. They may not know about parenting coaches. They may not know about teen coaches. They may not know the career coaches, the folks who can dig in with kids at younger ages to help them start exploratory conversations. So then where else do you go? Well, if you were a homeowner, you would probably know that Angie's List is a place that you can go to find a home service professional. If you're a dog owner, you may know that rover.com is the place to go to find a dog sitter or a dog walker. And the goal of the Parent-Tween Connection Trusted Expert Network, in part, is to become that place that parents know to go to find the yous and the me's of the world. So why do we call it a trusted expert? Well, first things first, the first step in the application process you'll find is a background check, because we want to know that you at least bring a foundational level of safety to the families that you're going to be working with, and that we can trust that you're not somebody with a criminal record. Our experts, well, that comes in from the fact that you've done what you do. You're not brand new. You're not just starting out. You have references of people who can speak to your authority and your capacity in the role that you hold. We also do interviews with our CEO, my husband, Joe Constantine, and with me, so that we can get to know your business better. And that way, the better we know you, the better we can refer you. So who are the folks that might want to consider becoming trusted experts? Well, here you go. You can see the list. I don't believe in reading to the literate, so I'll give you a minute to review. But really, again, what do all of these folks have in common? We are kid-centered. We are family-focused. We're focusing on supporting the teens and tweens that we love to becoming functional, contributing, happy members of society. And so these are just some of the folks that take a part in that process. So what do we find that our trusted experts' values are in common? What do we all share? Number one, we want to make an impact. We don't just show up to work to do our job and get our paycheck and go home and just do our other things. We're focusing on doing things that are going to leave an impact on the students that we work with, the families that we work with, the grandparents, the teenagers, because we know that when we can impact one person, that impact has a ripple effect. You may say that your business is your passion. You may say that your business is your life's purpose. You may feel, as I do, that you're driven to leave a legacy. Parent-Tween Connection is my legacy. But you also bring humility to what you do. Yeah, you're good at what you do. Own it. Absolutely, you should. What was it Muhammad Ali said? It's not bragging if you can back it up with facts. So yes, you're good at what you do. And you also know that there are others who on the surface may do the same thing that you do. But the fact of the matter is they're going to do it differently because they're a different human being. And they could be equally as effective in some cases as you might be. And in some cases, they might actually be better in a certain circumstance than you might be. We come to the situation and we say, hey, I know I'm good at what I do, but I know I'm not the only one. And I would rather have more people in my network to refer to and who could refer to me, because we're going to help more people that way, rather than feeling that I have to have the entirety of the fish in the pond. We're also believers in collaboration. As an example, during the pandemic, 2 of our college admissions professionals had a connection meeting. They had a one-to-one, and they came to me and they said, hey, Clarissa, we're in the middle of the pandemic. We can't do SATs and ACTs right now. Why don't we do a workshop together about college admissions without SATs and ACTs? They both do the same thing, but they take different approaches and they're ideal for different types of clients. And they saw the value in collaborating together to bring more information to more people. You're not threatened by competition. You're fueled by saying, hey, I was able to help somebody else as well. And at the end of the day, you believe that the sum that we create by working together, the whole that we create by working together is greater than the sum of our individual parts. So what's involved in the application process? Well, it starts with a $199 non-refundable application fee. And immediately you will get an email asking you to submit information for a federal level background check. Now, if you happen to reside outside of the US, we absolutely can still work through this process with you. We just need to maybe do a little bit of exploration if you're in a country where we have not processed this prior. We get the background check. We do reference checks. We ask you to give us at least one professional reference, if possible, as long as that doesn't violate any confidentiality issues. And that way we can get insight from people that you've already impacted. And then we also do interviews, as I mentioned, one with Joe and one with me. Once we've crossed all of those off the list, we've dotted all of our I's and crossed all of our T's, and we know all of our letters, then you're approved. You'll get an email that says, hey, you're approved. Within that email, there will be 2 links that you need to follow. One is to sign our Trusted Expert Network agreement, and the second is to actually subscribe. So what do we mean by subscribe? Well, we have 3 levels at which you can choose to participate. Our junior varsity is ideal for folks who simply want to be on the list. They're not necessarily interested in networking with other professionals as much, and they're not necessarily looking for some of the other coaching that is offered, but they at least want to be associated with the Parent-Tween Connection and on our website as a trusted expert. The next level is really the sweet spot for most professionals. It's our varsity level. It's perfect for folks who, yes, want that listing, but they really value connection. They value the network. They value collaborating with other folks, and they want to have opportunities to be on the podcast and to participate in our big events and such. And then our premier level of membership is our professor membership. These are folks who've been in business for quite some time. They've got a following already. They're recognized leaders in their industry, and they want the maximum possible exposure that we can offer them. They also want to be featured at any of the networking events that we host, and frankly, they get an awful lot of our love and attention. So I know that this bit is real small, but what you can do for more specific details, I'll include the link in the notes here, is head on over to www.parenttweenconnection.com/trusted expert network info. And in the trusted expert network info, there's a dash in between each word. But this basically details all of the benefits of membership at the varying levels, the junior varsity, the varsity, and the professor. Now, I mentioned the Trusted Expert Network. I mentioned Parent-Tween Village, which is the community for parents. I also mentioned our foundation. Again, our commitment is to have funding available such that when a family says, we want to work with one of these professionals, but we just can't afford it. The commitment of the Parent-Tween Connection is that 10% of all of our Trusted Expert Network membership dues and all of our Parent-Tween Village community membership fees, 10% of both of those will help to fund the foundation in perpetuity. Yes, we're doing other events. Yes, we're going to do the silent auctions and the galas and the 5Ks and such. But it's our commitment as a for-profit entity that a minimum of 10% of those dues go straight into the foundation. So you can know that you're helping to help other kids and other families that you may not ever actually impact directly as a service provider. You know that 10% of your commitment every month is going to help other families as well. With that, I'm going to invite you to share any questions that you have. Please feel free to email me at clarissa@parenttweenconnection.com, or you can email my husband and business partner, Joe, at joe@parenttweenconnection.com. And do note that there is one T in there. That T is symbolic of the connection between the parent and the teens and tweens. So it's parenttweenconnection.com. Love to have you email us or join us for one of our upcoming information sessions if you still have questions. Otherwise, the link to apply is in the notes. Thanks, everybody.